So, a couple of years ago at a Comic-Con, Amy Jo Johnson, the original Pink Ranger, said that her and her boyfriend was working on a comic with Boom Studios, and although no official press release was out at this point about the comic, we heard nothing but radio silence for the longest time, up until the Kickstarter this year, where they announced that Amy Jo Johnson would be working on a comic with Boom Studios that would be a reimagining of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And here we have a prologue of that upcoming reimagining story with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Reimagining, which is the prologue for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers The Return. And this story, it sounds like it's got an interesting idea. So it's written by Amy Jo Johnson and Matt Hodson, and artwork done by Francesco Mortarino. Now, the artwork for this story is freaking fantastic. I love Francesco's artwork. He always gets it on point. This story is kind of a weird one. And I feel like if Amy and Matt had more pages to work with, or they could have made this a longer prologue, then I feel like they could have fleshed out a lot more with this story, because it flies by very quickly with what's going on. So, what's the premise of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers The Reimagining? Well, it's an alternate retelling of the history of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for the 6 original Rangers, and things play out very differently. When Lord Zed comes, you have Rita using the love potion on him right away. You have all the Rangers go to the peace conference, but we don't really see the replacements. They say they're going to be replaced, but we don't see them in this story. You see them all graduate together through high school and college and stuff like that, so that's a neat little moment they put in this story. And then you have the wedding between Kimberly and Tommy, where Tommy engages, he proposes to Kimberly, and they get married. So, if you're a huge Kimberly and Tommy fan and you always wanted to see them get together, well, this story is for you, because you actually get to see that in this book. So, after that, you sort of get to see their lives of what they would do post being a ranger, while Lord Zed and Rita are getting married within the next couple of years. So you have Jason being a firefighter, Trini being a scholar or an architect, I guess, because she's holding a lot of files in front of a building. It's hard to say what she does. Billy's a scientist, Zach's a DJ, and Kimberly and Tommy, well, they're doing their gymnastics and their karate, so they're sort of doing that as they move forwards with their lives. But then the comic takes a drastic turn where Lord Zed and Rita come down on Serpentera and blow up the command center. And we get this really cool page that Francesco drew of, like, Serpentera towering over the Megazord and the Dragonzord. Like, even the Megazord is, like, leaping up into the air to try and fight Serpentera. But the command center is blown to smithereens, and Zordon and Alpha are killed. So, Trini asks, what do they do now? And Tommy says, we take the fight to them. And then suddenly, we flash forward to 30 years later, and we see a much older Kimberly, and it looks like she's heading back to Angel Grove for a flight, but she's also changed her name to Emma Phillips. Now, what's really cool about this last page we see as Kimberly's about to board the plane is that you see the moon in the background, and it's all blown up from the big battle that they had. Like, you sort of see the moon in the, like, reflection of the window, and there's a huge chunk taken out of it to show the big battle that they had all those years ago. So that's really cool. But yeah, it does say to be continued in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Return, whenever we're getting that. So that's the big Amy Jo Johnson story that she's been cooking for the last couple of years, apparently. This story I kind of enjoyed, but I've got mixed feelings towards it, because it's Amy Jo Johnson doing her own story, but it also rewrites 30 years of Power Rangers history to tell the story that she wants to do, and I feel like that she feels like that fans would want to see, because you get things like Tommy and Kimberly getting together, you see what the Rangers' lives would have been after they all, like, if they all remained friends and they stuck together, because it mostly focuses on those original 6 Rangers, like the ones we all grew up watching, And I feel like I said, if this story had like more pages to work with, then maybe we could have had some things fleshed out, because it flies by very quickly. But I am curious to see where she's going to take the story when we get the actual book, because this is the prologue to that story, and I do wonder what we'll see next moving forward. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this one? I feel like this one's going to be like the most mixed bag in the community. Some people might like it, some people might hate it. I feel like I'm going to grow on it eventually, probably once we get the full story, but this is what Amy Jo Johnson's working on, and it's okay, I guess. So with that said, I think I'm going to bring this video to a close. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next story that we'll be covering for the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers.